Doing Lines. This is the sports betting podcast where we bet on some of the not sports but a lot of the sports, just not the sports of the things of it. I'm your host, Kyle Ayers, joined as always by my co-host, Austin Huff.
Yeah, it's sports adjacent, you know?
Yeah. Sports adjacent. There's a podcast right there. It's every week what we do is we come up with some pretty fake bets that you won't see in Vegas. You won't even see at your friend's older brother's sports book in the back of that weird restaurant that he's also the dishwasher at. You won't see these anywhere else. You won't hear these anywhere else. We have guests on. They get $1,000 fake dollars to try and win fake money for fake real charities. And it is week 2 of the NFL season coming in, Austin. And this is week 1 was what it was.
How great would it be if former cornerback great Seahorn started a podcast called Sports Adjacent?
Ooh, there you go. And he had a segment called Seahorn something, Sayhorn something, where he blows a horn on what he thinks is going to happen that week.
The only guests on the podcast are named Jason. So like
or Joe
Veritek.
Horn.
Yeah. Or Joe Horn. Yeah. Yeah. And that one's only uploaded to YouTube so you can see Horn.
You actually can only watch the Joe Horn one on a flip phone that you find in underneath the padding of a field goal post.
Yeah. But he never refers to them by their full name. It's always like my guest this week is Witten.
My guest this week is X. You know him from Versus Freddy.
my guest this week is Worth.
Is Worth. This is a podcast where we try and get Jason Worth to come on every week, and this week we're yet again worthless.
My guest today is Day.
Jason Worth might be the best name for the pun podcast. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Are you still hearing me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
I think my girlfriend's earbuds just connected to my computer for a second.
My wife, that happens to me and my wife all of the time, where I will put my headphones in and I'll just start listening to a true crime podcast. And I'm like, where the hell is this coming from? There's no scarier sound to hear than a true crime podcast when you didn't turn on it.
Yeah, you're like, am I having the oddest stroke? Is this how tarot works?
Is someone narrating my life right now?
If she ever connects, I just try and play the Star Spangled Banner as quickly as possible from Spotify.
That's a great song. The only other song I could think of,
or One Week by Bare Naked Ladies or All Star by Smash Mouth. They're kind of those. I don't ever post my Spotify Wrapped because most of it is Torn by Natalie Imbruglia on loop as a bit.
Or Thong Song by Cisco.
I have
this thing right here.
I have a New Year's playlist that some people actually subscribe to that is Torn by Natalie Imbruglia 35 or 40 times, and then the Torn from MTV's Unplugged like 6 times, and then New Year by Death Cab for Cutie is the last song on the playlist.
Yes.
Well, we had week 1 in the NFL last week.
Real quick. Sorry, before we get in, this is gonna out me, but I actively think about my Spotify Wrapped when I choose the playlist I want to listen to on Spotify. Like I don't want to listen too much of this artist because I don't want it to show up on my Spotify Wrapped.
I quit caring about that. I don't post it anymore, and it's the most freeing thing that's ever happened to me.
That's probably what it is. Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like the genie at the end of Aladdin, where the cuffs come off my wrists and no one's going to give me crap for what I'm listening to. I think mine was probably just tainted from too many lo-fi beats to study to. So it probably skewed my Spotify rap towards a guy named like Malagnaton or something. So I can't anymore.
Well, and also speaking of Aladdin, A Whole New World from Aladdin was also on your Spotify Wrap nonstop.
It was, but I'm just practicing for karaoke when no one goes with me.
Yeah. Do your karaoke songs change when you're at the bar by yourself versus when you're there with friends?
I will do A Whole New World and only Jasmine's part and let it be dead silence during the rest of it.
So you have to wait like an entire verse until the part comes back up again.
Yeah. I mean, because you can't do just Aladdin's part. Otherwise, it's all quiet, and then you just hear someone go, "Don't you dare close your eyes."
Oh my god!
And everyone will be like, "Hold on, what's happening? Is this should we arrest the guy singing?"
Don't you dare close your eyes.
It's like if you did It Wasn't Me and only did one part of the song and you were just like you're just going something banging on a counter and it's quiet the rest of the time. Or you do
Oh my
Meatloaf Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, but you only do the Yankees announcer at the end. None of the song, but then at the end you go, he's got a real deep just rounded first.
I love this. I love this concept of like one part of a duet.
Yeah, and you just pretend go up and just talk about he just got divorced, and then
But
only
baby,
do
it's
one
cold
part.
outside. Just get real.
Oh yeah, we call that one the William Cosby. You just do that side of that song.
Oh
Although
my
maybe it
gosh.
sounds more persuasive if you don't have the part in where she's really trying to leave.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's not just I can't I can't stay. It's like I really can't stay. Like
Yeah.
listen, I've got somewhere I gotta be, and I really got to get out right now. Like the really is what makes it extra
Yeah.
rape adjacent.
Well, there goes our SEO for this episode. Yeah,
My guest today is
what are we
Veritech.
doing? What are we doing? Veritech just sounds like your guest is one bulldozer. It's
This for anyone tuning into this podcast for the very first time. We we already go over this? We explain we do fake bets
for the first time in the
fake
history of the
charity for fake
podcast. We
money.
might have explained it.
I think we did actually. I think if you don't know what this podcast is, well,
Weird
God
time to
love you
jump in.
for still staying with us this
Yeah.
deep into it.
It's like I started watching Breaking Bad season 3, episode 2.
Yeah, like Walter
Where's
White
his
has no
hair?
redeeming qualities about him. Yeah.
Why does he keep coughing? They don't even care about the meth. They're just like worried about his cough.
Yeah, that's that. If you tune into season 3 of Breaking Bad, by that point it's just bad. Like you missed all the breaking.
Oh, I watched Broke Bad.
Already broken bad.
Yeah. Breaking Bad is actually just a reference to that time Jesse ran someone over. When he ran that drug deal over, he was breaking poorly.
He was breaking.
It's me attempting to eat one of those 2 popsicles, and the stick just comes flying out the side. Oh yeah, that one's Breaking Bad. Anyways, this is the podcast for nobody, hosted by 2 guys who might even be for us.
Yeah. No.
So we give our guest $1,000, and we also bet $1,000 every week on a bunch of fake bets. We got 6 of them. Let's recap last week. I think this will be the easiest way that we can get into it. Paul Pabst was on here last week, and we had 6 bets. Paul put down his $1,000 and walked away with a net of positive $1,300. So that puts him in first place.
Yeah, that is really good. That I feel like that will stand for a while.
I think that could be a podium number. If people with the $1,000 limit, I think people need to start doing parlays if they really want to put up big numbers. But for making 1,300, because one of your bets does have to be the lock, which is double the winnings or triple the losses. So we'll go through the bets here. We had Justin Fields. This was okay. We'll get to that one later. That one was crazy. But here's a few bets that I liked from last week. Oh, the scores. We should recap our scores.
No, we don't have to.
It was wild. Last week was. Here's some bets I really liked last week. One was old. This was I would say our most mainstream bet. Old talking points bet. Old talking versus points scored. So in the Chiefs Ravens game, I proposed, will the announcers bring up old stuff off the because the Chiefs have all these off the field storylines last year. Will they talk about the old crap they always talk about, which was like Tyreek Hill, Travis off the field, Patrick's brother, this the stuff. Will they talk about that more, or will there be more scoring plays? And in a score of 10-9, old talking points won.
That's wild.
It was
wild.
One. They had old talking points basically had one, and then Travis had a catch that also made Mahomes the all-time Chiefs passing leader, and that opened the floodgates. That opened the Travis off the field. And I made them have to stop talking. Something happened, and then talk about it again to count. It wasn't every time they brought up Travis's podcast in a 5-second period. Brought up Tyreek, brought up, you know what I mean? It opened the
Yeah.
floodgates for them and then at that same drive, Juwan Taylor got a penalty, and that opened up the floodgates of last year's opening day game. And
Yeah.
it went
Did,
great. 9 scoring plays, and 10
d-
times they talked about off the field old stories that are pointless.
do you think NFL broadcasters are at the point now where they're like, all right, listen, guys, we like it's almost like a Braveheart type thing where they're like holding the line, hold the line, hold the line, wait for it, and they wait for Travis Kelce to get that first catch before they can make any references to Taylor Swift?
I think that they are. I think probably. And then I also think Chris Collinsworth is just so stupid he can't open his email, so he probably doesn't read those. Forgot the
Now,
Achan's
here's a
first
guy.
name. So I don't know. It's wild. I mean, I see a lot of Collinsworth because of Chiefs games, and you're just like, yeah, I get it. I get why everyone's
Yeah.
like. I feel like if the Chiefs watched it, they would be like, "Can you relax?"
Yeah.
So that was that bet. We all actually hit on that bet. We picked the old. This was my favorite bet of last week, the Love Hurts bet. The song from that peaked in 1976, Love Hurts. Will there be any 19 or 76-yard plays? And this one was 8-1 because of the 8 was the peak of it on the Billboard charts in the United States. And there was a 19-yard play in the Packers Philadelphia Eagles game.
And I feel like we all, or at least you and I did, we bet we threw some money at that bet because we were like, the payout is worth it. And
I threw $150 on that bet.
And okay, yeah, 50. And I think I only threw 50, and sure enough, 19 yards. It was that 19. That was the thing that was like that was what made me want to bet on it because 19 is a very doable number.
You feel like you see 19-yard play every game. But then I looked back through the Packers Eagles and they hadn't had one in a couple. You know what I mean? It was like it wasn't as common as you would think it is, but it feels like it is. And so, but Jordan Love had a 19-yard pass, and so that one hit. I didn't even keep looking if there were more. Then we had the BBL abroad. This was the game in Brazil, so we called this the British butt lift that makes it concave.
The British butt lift is the same thing as a Brazilian butt lift, just with worse dentistry.
Yeah, it goes in and it's a lighter breading. They actually call it chips there. So this one, will there be a BBL's $4,000 to $10,000? Will there be between 4 and 10 tush pushes? I also like this one as well. And this one, there were 2.5 to 3 tush pushes, depending on your meter for success. One kind of failed at even getting going. But either way, since it didn't push us to 4, I didn't concern myself too much with it because you're either at 2 or 3. Yeah. We all hit on this one. The buzzword, this was probably the weirdest miss of the day. This was Paul's bet of the rooms, the wide receiver room, the running back room, the quarterback room. How many times will they use this phrase during the Chiefs-Ravens game? He put the over-under at 1.5, and it hit under. They only said it once.
Seriously?
What running back room? They said it once.
And that was the position they used it for?
That was it. Chiefs. When Carson Steele got a carry.
And with Carson Wentz as the Chiefs backup, they very easily could have used it for the quarterback room.
Yeah.
They very easily
the Chiefs wide receiver room turnover.
Wide receiver room would be like the number one thing you would think they would
So
use
that lost me $750 because that was my $250 lock.
Oh, wait. So, all right. Because I think I also lost my lock this week.
Yeah. So we had the holdouts, hold on bet, which was will the wide receivers holding out drop any passes? And which receivers were those?
It was Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and Brandon Ayuk. The 3 most notable holdouts from training camp.
CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase, no drops. And then Brandon Ayuk, 2 drops in his Monday night game, which cost you $1,200.
I was thinking, okay, I'm good. And then Brandon Ayuk freaking make sure to get a drop on the list.
It was, you look up Ayuk drop trended on Twitter Monday night, and I was like, it's like Twitter wanted me to see Austin losing $1,200.
Well, and if you saw Peyton Manning on the Manning cast, he was like pissed that Brandon Ayuk dropped that pass because he's like, this is why you don't hold out, because he would have caught this ball if he got the reps in training camp. And I'm
I don't know if that's true in any capacity, but it's certainly something to say.
Oh, you're pissed, dude. You're pissed. I'm more pissed at Brandon Ayuk than you were at that drunken idiot kicker on your team back in the
I
day.
know. You lost more fake money than the Manning Cast lost viewers this season, though it was pretty close. I saw that was
I,
tanking pretty bad. I mean, I don't watch it. I don't need other stuff going on during the already busy football game as much as I love
I
those guys.
look. I don't know what the allure is to people that have money to keep hiring Eli Manning to do stuff outside of quarterbacking a 500 record. Like that's why
I don't
like
know.
I don't understand what the allure is to Eli Manning. Peyton, sure. Peyton's funny.
Yeah.
Cooper Manning is even
I feel
funnier
like Eli is
than
only on
both of
there
them.
because Patriots references.
That's the thing.
He's
If
the foil
Eli
to Tom
Manning,
Brady, and that's like sort of what he exists as is now.
do you want to know what Eli Manning's winning percentage was in his career?
Was it exactly 500?
It was exactly 500.
Yeah.
And like if he doesn't win those two Super Bowls, and the only reason he won MVP in those games is because he was the quarterback of those teams. You could very easily argue that it was a defensive player like Justin Tuck or someone on those defenses that
Yes,
could
I
have
think
won
you could
MVP.
very easily argue if you watch the games, he won 2 Super Bowls like with barely double digit scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, if
look,
you really look at a lot of these Super Bowl, this is I don't want to get too much into Brady probably has four I would say where he was not one of the 3 best players on his team as far as their performance in the Super Bowl.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like we're so obsessed with quarterback. It's the same thing with the Heisman Trophy. Heisman Trophy goes to the best quarterback every year. And it's like there are other positions on football fields that make deep impacts on games.
I
You
would
could
say
argue
in
that
college football,
TJ Watt could be
I think
an
TJ Watt
MVP.
might be if you just look at here's what MVP should be is do they have a record without them? And the Steelers are like 1 in 90 without TJ Watt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would tally up losses they had before they drafted him. That's how valuable he's been to the Steelers.
Yeah.
And and then they win. The Steelers are a scoregami candidate every week. Every single week, the Steelers win a game like 19 to 8.5. And you're just like, they're finding new ways to score defensive points that I've never seen. TJ Watt is so valuable. He's incredible.
With how many podcasts there are in the world today, do you think there is a podcast that is exactly like Doing Lines, but just based off of our podcast Doing Lines? And like, so they're just making up fake bets for our podcast, in which case,
maybe
whoever made the bet for does Austin slander Eli Manning this week, that bet hit for sure. Because I didn't think it would go. It was going
I'm actually
to.
looking at it. That's the middle of their bingo board. So they'd already marked it in.
It's the free space of me slandering Eli Manning.
Yeah. So we got to.
It just bugs me. There's no entertainment value whatsoever to Eli Manning. Even with the Chad Power stuff, like that to me, I know people ate that up online, but to me, I was bored by it.
At some point, like, you can only be so funny from wouldn't it be hilarious if this guy was bad at this?
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's all it is. And he brings nothing to the table in the Manning cast. It's just Peyton is carrying the entire weight of that, much like he did with many of his Tennessee Vols teams.
All right, I'm gonna give us the final score here from last week. If you guys want to hear all the bets, go back and check it out. Austin, last week, I ended in the positive $1,150, and that's including losing 750 because I hit 1,200 on my 8-1 19-yard gain. You ended at negative 800. So I'm currently winning by 1,950 going into week 2.
And you know what's funny is you were destroying me every week last year until
exactly
the final
what happened
week.
last year. And then you
until
hit
the final
two
week.
Solid weeks. You inched together with a lot of we both hit bets, but you bet more on the right ones. But we got to get into NFL week 2. We got 6 great bets and a great guest. Go ahead and give him an intro here.
Joey Mulinaro, you know him. He used to work Barstool way back in the day. He's just a funny comedian. He is literally so great at impressions. You've seen him on Rich Eisen show. You've seen him on First Take or whatever.
You'll introduce him again in a second
all over the internet. Yeah, I will. So I don't know why I'm doing this now. Joey Mulinaro, let's get to him. We're joined now by Joey Mulinaro, comedian, a host of These Guys podcast, who actually hosts with comedian, F-Boy Island star, and former Doing Lines contestant Benedict Polizzi, which is a extremely hilarious podcast. Check out his stand-up whenever he's touring. Do you have any dates coming up while I'm doing this tease?
I appreciate it. I don't.
Okay.
I was on the road a lot last fall with a couple gigs in my stand-up tour then, and then I did it again in the spring. And well, I got to tell you, I don't know if you guys have kids, but I got a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old, and the travel really gets limited by that. And so I just want to take a fall off while my son is just absolutely insane right now, and my daughter is getting more mobile, and figured my wife would hopefully not want to kill me or divorce me if I decided to just chill and kind of be at home more this fall.
Yeah.
So not anything at the moment, but definitely probably as we turn to 2025. Yeah.
No, I got a 10-month-old and a 2.5-year-old, so I'm right there with you in the weeds.
Holy smokes,
I love the timing of this decision because it comes across as, you're being a responsible dad, a good dad to your kids, but it's also like perfect timing for football season. So like,
totally.
yeah, it's like, I think I'm not going to tour as much right now so I can, be at home with the kids and also my TV that may or not be on Red Zone.
It worked out really well, actually, on both ends because my daughter, she was actually born the Monday morning after the Super Bowl this past year. We went into the hospital. My wife went into labor after halftime. May or may not have anything to do with Usher and his performance, but we'll just leave that there. We're on our way to the hospital. Second half of the Super Bowl is going. So we're in the labor and delivery with Nance and Romo on the screen while they're going into overtime. And I didn't tour last winter, and so I got all the playoffs in the Super Bowl until my daughter came, did the spring run into the early summer, and then now, like you said, totally. I mean, now I got the 3 TVs
it's
up
a perfect
every week,
time
and we're good
to not be traveling on Sundays. If you're like coming back from a weekend or something, then you're just like, well, I wonder what game Delta has. I wonder what weird jurisdiction Southwest Airlines streaming site is going to have. You're going to they have a CFL game or something.
Yeah, right.
Was not leaving it up to that. So we're at home. We're excited about it, and all good.
Okay, at Jolie Mulinaro is I feel like I should finish the hilarious comedian, guys. Check him out if you have. I don't know why I'm telling people to check him out. Everyone knows who this guy is. You see him everywhere. Not only incredible in impressions, but one of the best observational humor comics out there. I think you are so good at all that you do and all the content that you push out, Joey. We're so happy to have you. Thank you for joining us.
That's so kind, man. Really appreciate that intro. It was very kind. And I think I was on with you back in like 21 or something. It's been a while. It's
years
been 3
ago.
or 4 years. But totally excited to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for doing it, man. Now listen, we've got some fake bets. We're going to give you $1,000 of fake cash to put towards these fake bets. However, we're all people of means. I mean, let's be honest. Look, you're a touring comic. Sure. You've got 2 kids, which definitely does not
isn't
expensive at all. Yeah. You've got pictures on your wall behind you. Like, you're very clearly a man of means. And so we like to take the fake earnings that we get, and we in turn we donate it to fake charity. So is there a fake charity that you will be playing for this week, Joey?
There is, and I'm glad you brought it up, and it kind of tied into what you're saying, I think, of about the observationist in me. But this charity is called Small Talk Big Deal, and it's the fight to end pointless conversations that you only have to be polite. These are things that we all deal with, whether it is at a coffee shop or at Target or at the state fair or at the bar or pretty much everywhere you go. Inevitably, you're going to have some of these conversations, and I hate them. And so the charity is all about raising awareness and putting an end and having the fight against having to go into the coffee shop. Oh, hey, what's it going? Are you doing all right? You, where are you now? Are you living? Okay, yeah, I think I saw that. They didn't see it. They don't know. They don't care. Everybody's just gritting their teeth to get through it. So my charity, Small Talk, big deal. The fight to end pointless
I
conversations
love
you only
this.
have to be polite.
I love it.
Can I donate real money to this charity?
I have a very distinct memory of being on the train in New York after a show, and there was a comedian I didn't really know well, but we both walked to the same train, and we got on, and he goes, "Hey, that was fun. I'm gonna put my headphones on and go sit over here if that's fine." And I was like, "Oh my God, you're my hero. Can I you're the greatest person I've ever met in my entire life."
I host a morning radio show here in Chicago, and when everyone knows like how much I hate small talk. Like, and I'm talking like with my barber, when my barber will be like, "So how was your day?" It's like, you don't really care. Let's just get through this without having to converse.
Sir Austin's not even teaching his kids to talk.
No, yeah, I'm trying not to, because I don't want to have small talk with them. Like, oh, how was daycare today? You know,
it all
like,
is with them right now too.
It's a great point. Yeah, God, I mean, the amount of times I just want to tell my son to shut the hell up. You know, that little bastard, I can't stand him.
It's to the point where like I feel like I go out to events now, like events for like radio, and people will like kind of be standoffish and not want to come up to me because they know how much I hate small talk.
They actually only make big talk with Austin. They'll walk up to him and they'll be like, "Can you believe today's the anniversary of September 11th?" But they say it every day. They don't even just say it literally today, which is crazy because it is. They'll come up to him every day and say that.
See,
right.
I'm at this weird point where kind of like what you were saying, like people know me well enough to where, you know, if somebody sees me in public or whatever, they want to say hi, great, or whatever. "Oh, I love your content, man. This is great. Yeah, it's good. Hey, now I'm going to be that guy, right? Now I'm going to be the guy in the sketch, right? The one that you don't want to talk to, right?"
They want you to guy them so bad, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, but yeah. So I'm at that point, or I'm at a weird point where like people have been following me for a while now, where they feel like they know me so well and personally that like they just ask really poignant, like personal questions, kind of, you know, like people will be like, "Oh, so you got a house, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "How much did that cost you?" I'm like, "We're standing in line next to each other at a bar. I don't know you at why am I talking? I'm not going to tell you my financing on my home." Like, just because you follow me on Instagram and you share my content, it's a weird thing that I'm in.
When did you get in on that? What's our what are we looking at? What's your APR on that? What do we got going on? What's your favorite six numbers of your social?
What was the interest rates you got on that thing?
Yeah, so it's an adjustment, and now combine the small talk with all those things I just mentioned. That's why, I just don't ever leave my house. So it's great.
I think it's wonderful. Right. You know, you could the method I've taken is I have a stand-up show about a medical condition I have, and that just makes people only come in super hot. Like people will just walk up to me after shows and be like, "I have brittle bones." And I'm like, "Okay, wait, how about can we talk about the weather?" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
right. My dad died.
Where do we go from here?
I mean, like, it's a real 90 to 100, no 0 to 90. It's a Tyreek Hill situation with me.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite ends of that. Like Kyle, like I feel like I'm with you in like whenever we go to events, and the people that do come up to me are always like, "Yeah, so my my 6-year-old daughter is just diagnosed with leukemia, and she's a huge Morgan Wallen fan, and I know he's playing at this venue that's 21 and over, but we would like to go in her place. Do you have any Morgan Wallen tickets?"
For
and
kids?
you're just like,
oh,
you're like, why? What? No, I don't have tickets. First and foremost, even if your kid didn't have leukemia.
Plus, what a waste that could be if you gave them the tickets and the kid ends up dying.
This is true. That's the other side of the coin there.
It is.
It had to be said.
It is. It is one of those coins from Pirates of the Caribbean that's cursed, but it is the other side of that coin.
Yeah, right.
We should probably do the
yeah. Let's get to some bets. Kyle and I will each give you 3 fake bets. We do ask that you bet on at least 2 of them, but you don't have to bet on all 6. And then you'll make one bet your lock, which is just double the winnings or triple the losses. So
you're allowed to
most
do
confident about
parlays. It is important that you know we don't know what those are.
Yeah,
people have done them sometimes. We're yet to have one hit, so we have not had to Google what they are.
Right.
But you're allowed to do them. And one comedian told us what his would have paid out, and we believed him. But
we said sure. Yeah, your guess is as good as ours. We know
you're in week 2.
We know sports betting about as well as 2 people who would start a podcast on fake sports betting would.
Yeah.
Sure.
Paul Pabst was here last week.
Yeah.
He made $1,300, so he's put it that probably would have got him like second or third last year.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good bet. So we'll give all six.
He's in first place right now, but he's also in last, so that should be pointed out.
Okay,
and then
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Here we go. I'll read all six, or I'll read my three. Austin read his three. Then you can bet whatever you'd like. My first bet here. This is the rest in peace James Earl Jones bet. James Earl Jones passed away at the ripe young age of 93, and just in so many historic roles. But I would say his two most prestigious, most historic would be two dads, Mufasa and Darth Vader. I would say if you're gonna break it down. So I have James Earl Jones.
Spoiler
is
warning.
he played Darth Vader and Mufasa a total of 8 times. So he was in 3 Lion King movies, which was Lion King, The Lion King 2, which we all remember, and then the remake that they called live action, even though it was all 100% CGI. I don't know why they were allowed to call that live action. And then he voiced Darth Vader 5 times, the 3 original Star Wars, and then 1 line in Rogue One and 1 line in, I believe, The Rise of Skywalker, the most beloved of the Star Wars movies. And this is my bet. James Earl Jones' dad. How many second-generation NFL players score a touchdown this week? Over, under 8. Total touchdowns, not different players. Over, under 8 touchdowns scored by second-gen players. I have a quick list here I can give you of some of the prestigious, bigger-named ones. But you got to know Christian McCaffrey, Joe Burrow, both of their dads played in the NFL.
Joe Burrow's dad did?
Yeah, you're not familiar with defensive back Jim Burrow? He drafted by the Packers in the 8th round of the 1976 draft and played a season with that team, and then he left and played in the CFL. Here's a few other ones. Frank Gore Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., we have Isaiah Hodgins, Zay Jones. I'm looking for ones who Amari Rodgers, DK Metcalf, and I'm just looking for ones who might score. There's a lot of defensive ones like Asante Samuel Jr., Patrick Surtain II, but Christian Watson is also a legacy. Robert Woods Jr., a legacy. Over under 8 touchdowns scored by second generation players, and there's like 10 defensive ones, so that could just throw a random wrench in there.
Yeah, like a pick or a scoop and score. That's probably why none of us are in the NFL. You know, it's our dads. It's
my
our
dad's knees hadn't blown up. My second bet is called the safe zone. Tyreek Hill was, according to police, going 100 miles an hour or 60 miles an hour, depending on who you ask when the footage came out. Will Tyreek Hill's yardage land between 60 and 100 yards in this game? Or will it land in the danger zone, which is under 60 or over 100? So you can choose in or out of the zone. And there's a couple cruxes here. If he gets in another altercation with the police before Sunday, you lose the bet. Or I'm sorry, Thursday.
So it's just void.
We only have tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
And if the cop that did all of this if any of the police officers involved is put on leave or fired, you automatically win your bet. You know what? We'll give you until the end of Sunday for those cruxes. Even though his game is tomorrow,
I think
those cruxes will work through the weekend. So maybe they win tomorrow and he goes out Saturday and we really get things rolling. So will Tyreek's yardage land between 60 and 100 with the caveats of if he gets in an altercation with the police, you lose. And if either any of the officers involved in the situation are put on leave, you win the bet automatically. You know what? I'll even give that a triple payout if any of those cruxes come through.
Okay.
This is me. You cut to me like trying to do shots with Tyreek Saturday night. I'm like, you guys
really up the ante down there. Yeah.
You did what to what, kid? All right. And my last
I didn't realize
bet,
Kyle was in Miami this weekend. That's weird.
my last bet. I'm a Chiefs fan. And here's my last bet. Will there be more scoring plays in the Chiefs-Bengals game, or mentions of Taylor Swift in replies to tweets from the official Chiefs account on Sunday?
Oh.
So every time the Chiefs tweet anything, there's 100. I'm even going to hit show more. Every time the Chiefs tweet, there's a bunch of people who tweet it, send stuff about whatever.
Yep.
They usually live tweet the games, not consistently, but scoring plays and quarter updates.
Yep.
Will there be more scoring plays or mentions of Taylor Swift as replies to Chiefs official account tweets during the game Sunday?
And she'll probably be at the game, right? Like we assume.
I don't know. It says she's a singer.
See, that's I was under the impression that I also come up with a bet. So
you definitely
do you have one? If you got
yes,
one,
yes,
come
yes,
on.
yes.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, yeah. So because you mentioned Taylor Swift, and so I went with, of course, the Bad Blood parlay. Okay, and it is, and here we go with the parlaying. Okay, I am combining over 3.5 photos that we get of Joe Burrow entering Arrowhead with his pregame outfit. That could be from any account. It could be from NFL. It could be from any of the minion accounts that follow the NFL and try to go viral all the time. Over 3.5 photos of Joe Burrow entering Arrowhead on Sunday with over 5.5 shots of Taylor Swift in the suite on CBS. And on top of that, plus 225 that Brittany Mahomes is not in the suite with her at Arrowhead. Combine all of those together, you get the Bad Blood parlay. And that is one that I'm bringing to the table.
So you're saying 225 on no Brittany Mahomes.
Plus 225, so pretty solid. You know, like you definitely be getting, if you just bet that alone, you would definitely be getting some favorable money back in return if she's not in the suite. But then you parlay all those together, obviously, then we're looking at a pretty nice return. So the Bad Blood parlay, I'm with you there in Kansas City, and now I get $1,000 right to go out, and you got 3 more coming.
Austin has 3 more bets, and if you thought mine were long.
Okay. All right. Listen, I've tamed it down this year. All right. The look, in honor of Joey joining us, one of my favorite things that you do with Benedict is just naming random players of the past. You know, the Charlie Patches of the world.
Yeah. Amos Zaraway. Yeah. Love it. It's so fun.
So I figured I'd take this to Steelers Broncos in honor of your fandom as well.
Cool.
In this game, will we get any remember that guys from this game? And by that, I mean, are there any backups or non-starters? Do they score a touchdown in this game? It's a simple yes or no. Do any backups or non-starters, like of the starting lineup, do they score a touchdown in this game? So like in years past, like if an Eddie Royal maybe would have scored or a Bubby Brister. You know,
good names.
Bubby Brister sounds like a place where burgers are too expensive.
That's where's the line then? Because it's like, Jaylen Warren isn't technically the starter, but he gets a pretty good workload. You know what I mean? Like,
now you've exhausted Austin's knowledge base of the Steelers.
No, so if like when on the first play from scrimmage, so Justin Fields technically is a backup, but if
he's the starter this weekend.
He would be the starter. So if they're on the field for the starting first play, right? Or like if there's in pregame introduction, I go to Ball So Hard University, like that. Those, if they're announced in that type of starting lineup or on the graphic at the beginning of the game.
I'm just gonna go. I'm not gonna do that one because it is the Steelers and we don't typically score touchdowns. So I'm just gonna stay away from that one.
You could bet no on it, like altogether. Just bet no because it is just a simple yes or no.
Yep. Okay.
And then one of my favorite impressions that you do is, of course, Nick Saban. So I had to put together a Saban bet of some sort. Cool. So I figured Nick Saban, his game day picks on ESPN, which is more, the number of correct picks that he makes on Saturday or the number of Alabama touchdowns in the league. So it has to be the player crossing the goal line. So if Jalen Hurts throws to Devonta Smith,
in the way that they count as points scored, right? Like towards someone's career points scored.
Exactly. Yeah. So, or like same thing with Tua and Jalen Waddle.
Sure. So it had to be a rushing touchdown for those guys, or right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any Bama guys in the league?
I don't know. That's
I'd have to
question.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even look this up before I did this.
Google search on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my last bet is called "What You Walking About, Willis?" Malik Willis is starting for the Packers this week. Yep. Probably. It's not officially confirmed, but I feel like it's just a Christian McCaffrey injury, hide it until the very last minute type thing going on here. But with Malik Willis starting for the Packers, Gary Coleman was 4'8". Does Malik Willis average over or under 4.8 yards per carry in that game? Rushing.
Now, if Gary Coleman was 4.8 yards tall, he also would have made the news.
That's true.
I think we would also still remember him in about the same way.
Yes.
See, that's also, tough there on that one because, all of a sudden Malik pops off a 75-yarder.
Mm-hmm.
It skews it a little bit.
Right. As a Titans fan, I can all but assure you that won't happen.
All right. So
you got 1,000, and you can bet across anything you want to in any amounts.
Yeah.
Just lock one in.
Just lock one in and bet on at least two. But to recap, Kyle had
James Earl Jones, Tyreek,
second generation players over under 8 touchdowns.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill, will he be in between 60 and 100 yards receiving?
Mm-hmm.
And then more scoring plays or mentions of Taylor Swift mentions in the replies. And then, of course, you also have your parlay. If you want to bet on that as well, you can.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think that the replies, especially given the news of the week, we had the debate. We had Taylor Swift officially coming out with her endorsement of said candidate. I am going to put $600 down on more mentions of Taylor Swift than scoring plays in the Chiefs-Bengals game, because now it's combined Chiefs-Bengals, not just the Chiefs scoring plays, correct?
It's to Chiefs and Bengals.
Yeah, in the game.
So it's just, but it's not for the Bengals either.
It is for the Bengals as well. Total scoring plays in the game.
Yep. Still gonna do that. Bengals, they always start slow. Looked really weird in week 1.
What a weird.
Don't like it very much. Favorable going into Arrowhead week 2, especially when the Chiefs had that extra few days off. They're at the U.S. Open, like we saw. So I'm gonna put $600 down on that one. I forget.
All it really takes is one unhinged account with an egg avatar to hit this over.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just did like 4 or 5 tweets from one guy.
Now, if it was total points, maybe it'd be different, but it's just the fact that it's scoring plays.
Sure.
I think that's an easy one there. And then run me through.
Will there be more second-gen touchdowns scored or under 8 on that one for James Earl Jones?
Right, the Tyreek Hill.
And then Tyreek is yardage landing in 60 to 100 or outside of that with
4.8 yards rushing for Malik.
We've got the bad blood
saves,
parlay.
Number of correct picks or number of Alabama touchdowns. And then do any backups or non-starters score a touchdown in Steelers?
I'm going to put 100 on my bad blood parlay because that's all I ever see is Slim Shiesty and Joe Shiesty and real Slim.
So are you going to take both?
That?
On a parlay, you take like both overs and then that Brittany's not there, or do you tell me which ones you do on which thing?
So it's all 3 of them combined. Yeah.
So they all have to hit.
They all have to. Yeah. The 3.5 photos on the timeline of Joe Burrow, the 5.5 cut 2 shots of Taylor Swift in that suite, and Brittany Mahomes not being in there. And then I'm going to do. Yeah, I am not high on Malik Willis either. A lot of people wanted the Steelers to draft him in 2022. Thank God we didn't, although our pick didn't work out really even about just the same with Kenny Pickett. Love Kenny, just didn't work out. I don't think he's going to do much of anything on Sunday at Lambeau. So even if he does, I'm gonna go under. Or was it under or was it no? I can't remember the word.
It was under. Over under 4.8 yards. So, yeah.
Actually, no. Fuck it. I changed my mind because I just realized that that's all he's gonna do. He hasn't shown the ability to be able to throw. Or make plays from the pocket. So the first instance that he can, he's going to absolutely tuck it and run. They're going to have a bunch of design run things for him. I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I feel like it should be more of like over under 5.5 or 4.5 pass attempts from Malik Willis on Sunday because I feel like that's how much they're going to be running the football up there at Lambeau.
More yards per carry or passes attempted.
Yeah, totally. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Taylor Swift mentions. I think that is my lock at $600 on that one. I'm going to do change it to $200 to my bad blood parlay. So that brings it to $200 remaining. I'm going to put the remaining on Malik Willis over 4.5 or 4.8 yards per carry because that is all he is going to be doing is using his legs.
Okay, so you have 200 on the over for Malik. The 600 is your lock for
and then 200
Swift mentions.
Yeah,
and then 200 on the parlay. Okay.
At least this many have a couple picture shots and no Brittany. Great.
All right, Joey. Now, before we let you go, one last thing. We can't let you get out of here without talking a little trash. Who would you want to challenge? Who's someone that you think that would dominate in this or not dominate in this game that you would dominate in this little challenge that we have put forth?
Man, you guys have had you've had a lot of really good guests. Can you run me through? You sent them over. I remember Kyle Brandt was there. Ben Polizzi was there.
Yeah. We've had Roy Woods Jr.
Not only was Kyle on the show, but the next day on his television show, he did a segment called "I'm Never Doing Podcasts Again."
Yeah, we think we believe we are the last podcast.
The literal next
Kyle
day
Brandt
on Good Morning
agreed
Football,
to
he
do.
did a segment called "I'm Never Doing Podcasts Again."
Yeah,
dude, I remember that because he posted it and they posted it. I think I might have been watching it live. I was like, oh damn, because I've had him on some of my stuff before.
Yeah, right.
And so
I think everyone got self-conscious about like.
Yeah, we were all kind of like,
talking
oh shit.
It was 14 hours after he was on a Zoom with us. He did a segment on national television called "I'm Never Doing Podcasts Ever Again."
So we have a leg up on most people because it was like literally right after and everything he explained in the segment was something that we did or didn't do in the podcast. So it look, were we the nail in the coffin? Maybe, but we'll take it.
Wait for my Medium article tomorrow called "I'm Never Bringing Box Cutters on an Airplane Again."
That would play. That, especially the date. That's good. All right. It could be anybody. It could be realistic, non-realistic.
Yeah, whatever you
want. Lee Corso.
Oh, he just puts on a big giant Austin head at the end of it.
Now let me ask why. Go ahead and just bury him right now. Why would you beat Lee Corso in this?
Hey, I love Coach Corso. I want nothing more. I've never met him. I would love nothing more than to be able to, shake his hand and tell him thank you for all the enjoyment and entertainment that you've given me. But I just think without having the crew around him and the scene that he's so used to being at game day, you throw him on a Zoom with guys talking about fake charities and him not having his headgear picks. I think my man would just kind of, we've seen him get mad at people on the set, fuck it, not you little midget, all that. I think we'd have a lot of that going on. But I think I think it'd be quality.
0.5 inputs that he doesn't properly turn on.
Yeah, right. It would take him like 14
We got audio and video. Who's taking the over?
Yeah.
Now don't screw me on this and clip this and put it on the internet and make me, Joey Mulinaro wants to hates Lee Corso. I think that's not it at all. I prefaced it with saying how much I love the man and how much I'm grateful for everything that he's done. I just think that it would be a particularly funny scene if, the game day folks are like, okay, Coach Corso, you're going to go in this conference room and we're going to set up a computer and these two guys that you've never talked to are going to be asking you for your picks on fake bets and charity. I just think it would be quality entertainment.
Yeah, I would just hope that he would bring a headgear for each one of our fake bets.
There you go. Then it's made. If we could work that deal into it, then it's even better. Yeah. So challenge you guys to get Coach Corso on.
I hope if we get Corso on, I hope he kicks your ass in this game.
That Brandt story is unbelievable, dude. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That's insane, man.
Dude, wow. Austin was so bummed the next day. He was like, will you watch this?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Tough.
it was great. It was a good feeling. Anyway,
They invented a whole new segment on the show so he could say he was done with podcasts forever. A
Yeah,
thing
it
they've
had
never
nothing to
ever
do
done
with
at all.
football.
Nothing to do with football.
Yeah, there's just he's like, I'm just done with podcasts, you guys. I'm done with it. I'm not doing the whole rigmarole of going around and joining people's podcasts just so they can.
He was our week 1
clip
guest,
things.
1 week into the NFL season, and he quit. He quit the medium.
You know, it's crazy too because not to name drop or brag, but like I've been on that show a couple times, and I'm aware of all of the crazy hoops and loops that you have to jump through with all the producers in your ear and have everything to go. So for the fact that he had a whole segment the very next day, like you mentioned, that he made them do, that says a lot. But
like
you know
there were
what?
no storylines in week 1 of the NFL season.
Yeah, I think it
wasn't
was the
like this was
Thursday. I'm pretty sure it was
Mid-June.
the Thursday of opening week. I'm pretty sure.
Is there anything to talk about on week 1 of the NFL season on the show called NFL The Show?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry, but
we gotta fill time.
You
Kyle,
guys left your mark, man. You guys left your fucking mark. Good for you. That's great.
It was a skid, but it was a mark nonetheless.
That's actually how we sell people to come onto this podcast. It's like, we're the last podcast that Kyle Brandt ever did.
Honestly, if we said we were the last podcast you have to do, I bet we could get a lot more TV personalities.
Yeah, right.
That's true. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well,
Joey, listen,
much
man,
for
we
being
hope
here, Joey.
we're not the last podcast you ever go on because you're one of the funniest guys on the internet, man, and in real life. Like, we appreciate you, and thank you for doing this, and good luck on your bets.
Thanks so much, fellas. Really, I truly enjoyed it. Won't be my last one. And thanks for the time, man. It was fun.
At Joey Mulinaro on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as well.
Yep, everywhere.
All right.
There.
All right, another big shout out to Joey. Let's go through our bets real quick and get out of here. I'm going to put $300 on more Taylor Swift mentions in the tweets, and I'm going to lock that in. I think I think that might be a pretty easy one. I'm going to go $150 on less touchdowns than James Earl Jones voicing of Mufasa and Darth Vader. I think it's just going to be under 8. I don't know what that's going to be. I do Burrow 2 or 3. McCaffrey might not play, and then it starts to become thin of guys scoring more than 1. I'm going $150 that Tyreek's yardage is outside of 60 to 100. I mostly wanted to bet on that just in case one of those cops gets fired this weekend and we all win $450.
Yeah, right.
I call that a tax buyback. Now I'm going to go $200 on the parlay, except I'm taking the under on Swift shots. I think you're allowed to pick which one it is, but you have to pick all 3, and all 3 of your picks have to hit, right?
Yes.
So I'm doing over on Burrow outfit tweets. I feel like that's going to be such an over. I'm doing under on Taylor Swift shots. I think 5.5 is high, and then I'm saying no Brittany Mahomes. But $200 there, $100 on the backup scoring for the Steelers, and then I'm doing $100 on the over for the yards per carry.
Okay. I am going $200 on Nick Saban just because over the years I've learned it's hard to bet against Nick Saban in many ways.
So you're taking more Saban picks than Bama touchdowns?
Yeah, Saban will have more correct picks than Alabama touchdowns in the league this week.
There's one thing I know about him is he doesn't want his players to get attention, so I could see him finding a way to win that.
Yeah, right.
This is how he gets back at NIL, is he doesn't even let his pro players win a fake bet.
Yeah. You'll be like, Nick, can you give now that you're retired, can you give some players some attention? And he'll say, I'm not going to, so quit asking. What you talking about Willis, or what you walking about Willis, excuse me. I'm going to take the under on the 4.8 yards per rush. I'm going to put $200 on that.
Okay.
The Tyreek Hill speeding, I think he's going to be in the danger zone. The danger zone is between the 600 and 100 yards, right? Or 60 and 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do $100 on yes, he is in the danger zone.
So it's funny, we put different bets on this, and there's a chance we both win. The chance is if a cop is held accountable, so I feel like it's low.
or if Tyreek has another run with the
then
law.
We both lose, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess that okay, so there you go. And then the more scoring plays or mentions of Taylor Swift in replies, I'm going $100. I don't want to. I really don't want to do this, but $100 on the mentions.
Yeah.
And then
I checked, it wasn't as frequently as you'd think, but it also was not post endorsement.
Yeah. Oh, and then my lock of the week. I am going on the under 8 touchdowns for second generation players. I'm locking that in at $300. Look, I got to make back that $1,900 that I'm trailing you by. So I feel like I'm going to do so here.
Yeah, great. All right, that's all your money there. There's 4, 5, 6.
Should be.
Yep, there you go. Well, hey everybody, thank you so much for listening. Let us know if you got bets. I love when they bring in a bet. It's so cool.
I know. That is fun. Now we're now 2 for 2 this season with a guest bringing a bet. I kind of like it because it adds a whole nother element for us.
It does. You can't ask it of them, but you love when they do it.
It's true, right?
All
we ask is for their fake charity, which they all happily oblige. And when they bring a bet, it's extra credit for us.
No one wants to give some fake something nothing more than most people. I'll say it.
No true words.
That sounds like something you'd see on Threads. Do you know what I mean? Like some weird thing on what a horrible website Threads is. I'm on there. I reply to every single rage bait I see, and with some dumb thing. But everything on there is just like, you eat a cheeseburger. Do you tip?
Well, do you?
Anyways, enjoy week 2. Hit us
Okay.
up. Engage with us on the internet because
at Korked Bats, Korked spelled with a K. That's where we post all of our Doing Lines content. At Kyle Ayers on Instagram and Twitter, and at Kyle Ayers Things on TikTok.
Yeah.
Follow him because honestly, he's the funniest human being I've ever met my entire life.
And I'll see you next week, Austin.
What?
I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Well, wait, hang on. I got to give out my Twitter account.
I know. I'm just excited. That's why I'm trying to hype you up.
Oh, I thought you were just tired of small talk. I thought you were ready to donate to.
I love small talk.
Joey's charity.
We had a whole bet about Gary Coleman this week. We love small talk.
Look, it's the only talk I know. At Austin Huff on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow me there. All right. Let's get out of here, I think. Is there anything else?
His bet was called Small Talk Big Deal. I think a good name for that bet would have been Small the All Talk. Small the All Things.
Small the All Things. Yeah. Small the All Things.
All right, we're done.
How a dyslexic kid's like banging his head, like, I love that song by Blink.
Dude, I love
by 182
Blink. He gets Blink right though, but not the numbers. All right, follow Austin on Twitter. Follow me on X, and everybody have a wonderful day.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. Good luck on your bets this week. We love you.